Let's start first with containing all of them maybe in a box, or we can start with doing the math because we will have to parse that shit because we're getting a string. How do we... Well, can we do that in slint? Let's do that here. True, we might want to convert it to a string slice and then we can do stuff with that maybe. Because right now I'm assuming it would be a tuple with a string, or yeah, or tuple with a string slice, something like that. We're learning a lot of stuff today. Okay, we don't have any line breaks, but we do have some special characters. Maybe we can avoid using the special characters, but avoid printing them. So instead of 1+1, it would just be a 1 and 1. But then how would we do that? Maybe we can do so whenever you press this, it would... we can send every my, it would be stupid. I want to do the math only when we press the equal button. Why can we not do that? I mean, this is what we done with the HTML one. We just passed all the values, right? Input function clear display. That we done that, and the calculate is just take the display value, evaluate. So we can't do it that way, but I'm gonna keep that open anyway. Ooh, types. Let's see. Ooh, we can do that. I think that's what we want. How can we use this? To float, but the property has to be float. Like, can we say, oh, but this is not float, that's the problem. Like, what happens if we just say, like, can we say that? Float, and then to float. Is that going to work? Okay, but then we're receiving a string. So what happens if we do feel like there is a faster way of doing that, but I'm gonna do it anyway. What? 6. No, can't do that. Okay. So the dot would be an actual dot, and we can't use that because it's a no, that's not gonna work. Yeah. But how about instead of exporting this, how about we make it another component? So we have a component that we'll call, I guess, display. We don't have display yet. We don't have display. So display will inherit the, I guess, text box. And ooh, I have no idea. So we should actually contain that in a box, but let's see first what happens when we do that. Component is neither used nor exported. What am I doing? So we have the, oh, this is even more complicated than I thought it will be. Callbacks. Yeah, I have no idea. This is dumb. You're right. Past me. You're very much correct. This is dumb. Whatever it is, we're done. Okay. We have. So can we pass everything instead of display append? We can pass everything to just display. Like, can we just say to display? Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. But can we tell him? Display append is going to be display. We can't do that. Why can we not do that? Because it's not a string. It is. Well, I don't understand how slint works. I don't understand how programming works. I'm learning. That's the whole point. Let's go back to what were we? Primitive types. Like, can we have like a I was like, I suspect something here is also broken, but we'll get there later. Um, defining an easy curve. No, that's animation. Oof. Okay. How about we go back? Control Z. That obviously doesn't work. So we have a string. So we have a string. Can we just say, okay, let's try this. I'm gonna try defining that multiple times. So we're going to say property, and it's going to be a string because we're receiving a string first, and we're gonna call that the display append. Why do I have that? That's concerning. Anyway, so we have the display append, and the display append is just a string. Well, for now it's just a string, right? We would just give it a empty. We don't want to. Let's just make it like that so we can find the bottom of it. And now, how about we give it another name and we say property of a float is going to be, instead of name, we're going to put here the. I'm just gonna. Oh yeah, we can do that. Um. So float display is going to be the this is so stupid. The display append dot is float. There you go. Not is float to float. Now that might cause some issues because we have other characters, but we're going to try to use that. So what the hell was I just doing? So what happens if we do what happens if we do 1, 2, 3? We did not do any logic, so we don't know if it's actually working. Can we so okay. We can call the float display now. I don't know if it's a good name, but yeah, we should get a we should change the name to float. Okay, so we have a number, and we can put something, and it should return when we press equal. It should return something. So question is, do we do the logic in Rust or do we do the logic in Slint? Because it seems like we should be able to do that. So in case you're wondering, that's the window I found. So we defined the string and then we redefine that as a float. So that way we can print that as a string if we want to. I don't know why. Yeah, we'd have to use as a string. We'd have to start with a string because we're getting all those strings slices. Well, they're just strings in Slint, I think. Anyway, so maybe we can say that. Do we have like a what's the let's see, math. Why did we not use math last time? Okay. What? Um. Let's put that there. Let's do Rust math. Okay, I have no idea. Like, how can we? How are we supposed to return that? That's the question I have. If you remember related function. Okay, wait. Can we do like a if okay, let's try that. If the user is pressing the is clicking the plus instead of appending the plus, maybe we can say if he's pressing the plus, then the display is going to append the old input, I guess. The display to float plus this. No, not plus this. Plus the I think we can. Okay, I think we can do that. 1 second. Let's try to let's try using the equal. so so when clicked, we're going to display append, and we're going to say append um the float to what? Display to float. Can we have like a I don't know what those mean. To precision, I have no idea. I have no idea. And the integer, well, it's not integer. Can we put this again? Like, really? Are you going to let me do that? Wait, 1. Oh. Okay. Wait. If we put 12, we get a precision. All right, so we can't. Ooh, I think we're onto something. So, okay. Now we're cooking. All right, so we don't probably not gonna use Rust anytime soon, but I'll keep that open. What do we want to have happening when we press the plus sign? We want him to wait. Well, we don't want him to wait. So we want to append the plus. Okay, we want to append the plus. Ooh, that I can do the logic with like a low language. Like I can do that. Not a low language, a high language. Like with Python, I can do the logic because Python also has UI. It makes it so much easier. But this is learning everything. I feel like a kid. All right. Okay, what happens if instead of saying, okay, let's do it with that. We can do plus two for some, just for the sake of that. So if we do one and we say equal, it's going to be one plus two. Okay, because we're printing a string. So can we tell him that we want you to, instead of display, um, I think we're gonna have to. I don't think we're gonna be able to use that, but should be fun trying that. Display to float. Is that going to work? What am I missing? No, now it doesn't even work because. Okay, let's just revert back just until I understand what I'm doing. Okay, we can let's instead let's can we say times two? We can't do math on that. Why? Cannot convert string to float. What? What are you talking? You're because this is a string. Okay, we're displaying the string. This is why we couldn't see that before. Okay. Maybe we can do something else. Maybe we can say um, num is equal to that and just print num. What's your problem then? We can't do a let thing. Is that not a thing? I don't know I don't know how it works. Can we do property? Root. Just. Don't know what that means. Okay. Okay, wait, 1 second. Let's go back to where it did sort of work. Okay, now what we achieved was we can clear, we can get the precision number because this is an integer now, right? I think so. I think this once we press that, it's well not an integer, it's just a float. Can we say instead just give me 2 points after the 0? Okay. Easy. Okay, I don't know what. Okay. That's all I wanted. Okay. So My brain is not braining, and I don't really want to restart the whole project. But I feel like I made a serious mistake putting all of them as one group, but they have to be in the same grid layout. Because otherwise, some weird shit is happening. Like this, for example, I can't seem to put that back in place, even when it's inside the same component. I can't focus that. Every time I restart this, it would just start like that. I don't know why. I don't understand the logic. Why would it have a different size? Can we have like, oh, maybe I know why. Because we have never defined that, so we should do that. Like, what, 600? I think 600 pixels. Height. Let's do 500 pixels. I think we should do the other way. So this 600, and this would even do 400. No, maybe 450. Okay, that looks better. I like the 500 better, I think. Okay. Okay, we solved another problem. Now it has a specific size, and it's not going to change. Well, we can change that, but... Okay, we're at one problem at a time. We're solving shit. Like, we can even go crazy and do background now, probably. Yeah, what do we want the background to be? We want it, let's say, can we do like... What is that? I have no idea. How about we don't mess with that right now? It's not important. We want functionality, and besides, we have all those beautiful colors when we click and all that. It's very satisfying. I like that. Okay, so when it makes sense now, but yesterday I didn't know that. See, you learn something new every day. Okay, let's see. Right, this we're not gonna be using. It was a didn't work when we tried that. I'm sure we can do the math in slint. This is what kills me. I know that we're very close to that, but I'm just not seeing the okay, maybe instead of all of those buttons being here, maybe we can do a... That's the grid layout. So all the way here, we can just take all that, and we'll create a component, and we'll call that buttons. Oh, it's not button, it's buttons. Buttons to what? I'm gonna call that buttons. And it inherits what it inherits is the grid layout. Okay, so it takes the grid layout, and then we can call the grid layout again, right? Okay. Num buttons. Now maybe we can do like a... the hell was it? Why did I just do that? Why is that a good thing? Because now I can put the text inside num buttons, maybe, and then it might finally make sense. What the hell is? I don't understand what's wrong with this. It's just not wanting to market them as what the fuck is that? Why is that thing? I don't understand that. But fuck it, it's just an empty block. It's not gonna change anything probably. All right, what do we want to make? We wanted to. I blocked out. Num buttons, and then in num buttons we can put that maybe. Can we? No, we can't. Let's go back. I don't see the reason for doing what I just did. Okay, okay. Maybe how do do you have functions? Do you even have like a slint doesn't have functions? What the fuck is that? Function. Okay. Slint functions, let's see. So we say declaring a function, it's just a function, right? And what can we do in those functions? Can we use any can't believe that. This is stupid. This is so easy. Well, wait. Before I say this is so easy. So we can declare function using just the word function. And then, okay, and then just. What's this? So export component, it has function, and we take a text, and it has. Oh, we can make functions inside the thing. All right. So I would prefer making the functions outside, but can we do that in here? Why? Why not? I don't understand why not. So it has to be inside a component of some sort. So this is that's just basic UI stuff. And how about before we start with the display window, we make functions. I think this is wrong, but if it works, I'm not gonna complain. So we make a function. A function name is, let's say, we should be more specific. So the function is taking the display to float as a float, and we return. Let's just work easy with just a I don't know what we're returning yet. I think we should return a string or float or something like that. And then the function addition, it takes alright, so we should do so whenever you press the plus, it would send it here. So if we go to the plus, so when clicked, instead of doing that, when you click the thing, we want to we want to do math, right? We want to say on clicked um, addition, and then your float. Does that make sense? Can we say that and then say, well, but then it needs to save. So we say, if we receive a number from you, right, we'll take it in, and we want to save it somewhere as a float. But we can use this. Maybe can we create like an empty array that we can call stuff to it? So property, and give it an array of some sort, list. I don't know. I want to go with floats because I don't want to deal with the whole. I would prefer if the calculator always prints something point something instead of not working at all. But maybe I'm wrong. Let's see. How did they use? So they made a public pure function. I don't know what pure function is. Public. Don't know what that means. Their function is double is x, integer returns an integer, and it returns x times 2. Yeah, it just multiplies itself by nothing, but by a set number. So we need to store the number that we receive, right? So we store the number, but now we want to store another number, right? Because we want to do 1 plus 1. So we stored one number. Oh yeah, we stopped that. So addition has to take a sum of those numbers. Can we do to integer? Is that not a thing? Why is that not a thing? I feel like that should be a thing. Like, why is that not a thing? Oh, I don't know. Okay. Well, addition, it takes the sum of numbers in display to float. Okay. And then how about we say another function, and that function would be the equal is not fun. It's not it's not fun at all. But what can we pass him? You see, this is a problem I have. So whenever we press the equal function, oh, I don't know. How do I store? how do we store data? Store. But what would you say? Like, how do we tell him, hey, we want to use those numbers? Maybe we just. I mean, maybe we should. I don't know. Oh, I don't know. I feel like we come so far, and we just. I don't want to be. I don't want to break now. Um. So when you press a button, let's just say it's going to do. Well, okay, let's just say it's going to move you to a different environment, right? So if you click the plus, then we can create a new in out maybe. No, we can create maybe a new function. No. um can we create a new environment? Okay, maybe just maybe. How did we declare that property? All right, so no, we didn't do that. Yeah, we did. So how about we just create a new property? If you clicked, you're going to create a temporal. Well, it's not. It's not going to. It doesn't have the thing. I mean, two numbers. Yeah, we can do two numbers. All right, let's just try with that. All right, let's start with that. So, no, it's not gonna work. No, mm-mm. No. This is how you don't do stuff. This is the wrong way of doing stuff. No, mm-mm. I don't know. Okay, you know what? How about that? Um, I'm just going to see how you'd expect to make that in C, right? I'm just going to install an ad blocker real quick because this is fucked up. No, what the fuck is that? Where's the ultimate? Yeah, there we go. I don't want it to apply to all of my windows, but I just want it to be on some of them. Okay. How about now? All right, now we can see stuff without being stupid about that. All right, so it's so much simpler um, than I went for. What I went for. Okay. Yeah, but I can't do those things, right? Like, oh yeah, because I have an ad blocker. They're like, no, but I don't want to see ads. What the fuck is wrong? What's wrong with that? I just don't want to see ads. Why is that so hard to understand? It's not. It's not stupid. I'm not gonna buy anything. So it's not like I'm taking money from your pocket or anything. Okay, but let's just see what it is. Um, well, we don't have if and else statements in as far as I know. Let's see if we have slint if. Else. Oh, there is a game logic. No, but that's Rust. That's not a. Okay, we'll have to do that in Rust because I don't know how to do that in. But then we, how do we call each one of them? Like, can we say, um, mm, I don't know. No, 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 no. That where's that? We did the memory tiles thing, and I think I can understand what it's. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, how about we make that a bool? So we're gonna say we're gonna create a couple properties. Okay, let's just remove this. This is not going to work. I need to change something. Something is not working, and um, we need to change the way it works. Okay, so technically this is. Oh, it is. Okay, I thought. Anyway, we're gonna create a couple other properties, right? So we're gonna create and they're gonna be bools, and we're gonna say is plus. Um, how about we copy that? Ship. All right, we have a couple operators we want to mess with, right? So we have is plus, we have is minus, we have is uh, multi for multiplying, is dev just divide, because I'm not a dev. You get it, funny. And then is equal. Right, so that way we can check their status, and we can give them a default value, and the default would be false, right? So default would be false unless you change that. and then we'll have to also clean after. But before we go to clean, let's just go with that. All right. So we say if you pressed the equal, right? When clicked, is equal is going to turn to a true. It's just going to be true. And that's what is going to return. So if I ask him equal, he's going to, okay. Is that the right way? Why did we use root? Do we have to do that as well? I don't think we do, but it's just can't hurt, right? So so when we click that, he's not going to do anything. He's just going to change the state of is equal to true. So we can use that later and call that. Okay, I'm starting to think like a all right, let's do the same thing. Let's do, I'm gonna do root because I don't know why they would use that. So I'll just use that because it works, and I don't want this to be the reason shit doesn't work. Is plus equal to a true. Okay. Now, how do we clear that? Can we? Because that's not going to. Oh, that's not going to work. Oh no, I know how. Once we press the equal, he's going to set the is equal to true, and then once we get the result, we're gonna create the results, and once we get the results, we set everything back to false. Okay, that's. But then everything. Oh, I feel like I'm making everything more complicated than it should be. For now, this will work. Probably, I think. He's dead. Alright, how about that? So now, let's just ignore this for now because this is, yeah. Yeah, okay. I can't deal with this right now. We're gonna ignore that for now. Okay, okay. Okay. Don't know why this doesn't work, but anyway. Are we not supposed to use the model? No errors? Well, no working. Is it? What's going on? Okay. Let main window run. What? I'll be damned. It does. Hey, hey. All right. So when I press all those, now they're true. All right. So now I changed them all to true, and it's not going to do anything right now, but we can use that. All right. So don't know why it takes it so long, and why would that be a thing? No, but I want to call it with the run. What do you mean? I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. Where are we supposed to? The hell is that music? This is just. Um. Okay. Okay. Let's try to call some of those properties, some of those items, and see if we can do something with them. Let's say. Um, so we want to take from main window. Main window should have the. Well, I don't know if it would have them as properties. Is that how it works? No, we want to do something else. We want to do calculator. Um, yeah, we're not going to use that. 1 second. I'm going to try something in here. Well, but that's what's running this shit. So let's just do that. And then we're not going to have to remember anything. Calculator. And then can we access the property of something? Can we say is? No, we cannot. Can we say dot is? No. I mean, it should recommend. It might not recommend because I'm just being dumb. And, you know, I can only know what. Well, actually, that the problem we have is that we're displaying everything using this where we the slint where we don't have the logic. So instead, we should use Rust to display everything and say, okay, we have a new thing, right? Wait, what? Okay, I have no idea. Because equal doesn't do anything right now. It's just changing to true. Um, if how do we call that? I don't know how we call that. Can we say public function? We have a public function. Public property. No, not public property. Oh, we don't have shit. I feel like we're gonna have to do something. Like we're gonna have to start something new. Like we're gonna have to create like a public function and then call it a I don't know, so something. We're gonna call that something, and it's going to be the definition of what we need. Wait, what? Is plus what? Oh, okay, that's it. Why can we not do like a simple if statement? If is plus is true, then what do we want to do? We want to um what do we want to do if plus is true? Well, whenever we click the equal button, that's when we do the math. So if plus is true, then we say iterate. So for the, and we'll receive the, well, what, the display to float. Display to float. And that's a float. So for I in display to float, I don't know why that's not working, but you see my logic, right? You see where I'm thinking that should work. Like for everything in display to float, just do I have like to give it? The fuck is that? I plus I guess. Yeah, but that's not going to work. Why is that another thing? Okay. Okay, maybe we can say display to float to not iter, no. As? I have no idea. Don't know what that does, but you know, it's just and then we say if is equal is true, then something like that. Can we not have that? The print. Oh, I know. We can use the display that we're displaying right here. What are we displaying? Display append. Then display append will be equal to something. Something. I see so many wrong things with that. Okay, let's just sorry. Else nothing. Just else. Expected. Why did you expect this? I don't understand. I don't know. The fuck am I? If statements. Let's see. If. How did you if event modifier control. Okay, so it's supposed to be a tuple, from what I can see. I might be wrong. What? What's wrong with you then? Why are you expecting the fuck? Like, or like, what? Do I have like to add accept? Accept? No? The fuck is that? Um. Let's examine that. Maybe we should use the key press thing. So if we have a key pressed event, and whenever the key press event, he will start doing something, and what it will do. So that's like the function is the key press, like that's the event. Then it does debug event text. Okay. If event modifier control, I have no idea what that is. Oh, that's the key press. Okay, yeah, that's the if the key pressed is the control, then control was pressed during this event. If event text is what? If the event text is equal to the key escape, but what is the event text? Debug. What the fuck is that? I have okay, this is over my oh my very very tiny understanding of functionalities of how to do shit. Okay. What are we missing? What are we missing? Yeah, I think this is not going to be the results. I think this is also not the results we're looking for. I think we're gonna have to create functions for that. Like, I think also we're gonna have to encase the equal. That is like this is well, actually, we instead of like a calculator using the key presses, yeah, I guess we can do that, but then it's not fair. We want the idea is to create this essentially. I want to be able to replace this general this stupid calculator. Main reason is because I got an update for calculator, and I got pissed because who the fuck needs an update for a calculator? Are you stupid? And then I realized that it's just yeah, I can do. I built a calculator. I'm gonna show you. I built a quick calculator. Right, you're gonna see that. Right? How about that? See, that's a calculator. Right? It does the if you press equal, it's not gonna do anything. Right? Can clear 1 + 1. All right, we got a 2. 1 minus 2. We got a -1. All right. We have the thing. Okay, it works. We can do 1.2 plus, I don't know, 5.7. It does work. I did not intend for that to happen. So we can do that in HTML and JavaScript, but I wanted to have that as an application and to learn how to do that shit. Like here it was very simple. All we had to do was just put everything as a total. We didn't have to measure that. But now we don't have the eval. Like we don't even have checksum. Like do we have like Rust sum? Hmm? I don't even know how to do that. Like how would we do that? Well, can we say like a sum of what? Don't know. Can we? I don't know. What would happen if we implement some? For, I don't know. I'm trying. I'm trying. I mean, we can't do that because we have to sum the functions inside and oh, I don't know. All right, that's gonna have to do it for today. I'm gonna go and put myself in a timeout. I need to figure this shit out. I think, but I think we should continue with this. I think this might be where we find the answer to all of our prayers. Okay. Well, we did advance. We did change some stuff. So yeah, out of date, but it still works the same. Okay, so we did change some stuff. Not a lot, but we're getting there. We're doing something. All right.